All right, let's talk about one of the most valuable things you have as a professional, your network. We're going to break down a really systematic way to manage it, to stop those amazing connections from just fizzling out. And we'll see how content, especially video, can be your secret weapon to keep everything warm.
So, think about it for a second. You know that incredible contact you made at that conference last year? Or that investor who seemed super interested a few months back? If you're not talking, even the best connections start to get cold. It happens to everyone, but what's fascinating is that it's not random. It follows a pretty predictable pattern. Okay, so let's get into the core idea here. It's called relationship half-life. Sounds a bit nerdy, but the concept is super simple and powerful. Basically, for every 90 days of silence, the warmth of that relationship gets cut in half. So a connection that was a perfect 100, boom, it's a 50 after just 3 months. And in 6 months, it's down to 25. It's a way to actually quantify that feeling of a network going stale.
This is where it gets really practical. We can split our whole network into 3 simple zones. You've got the green zone. These are your active, warm connections. You're in a good rhythm. The red zone? Well, those folks have pretty much gone cold. But that middle slice, the yellow zone, that's the gold mine. These are the relationships that are at risk, but they're also the ones you can still easily pull back from the brink if you just act now.
So, how in the world do you manage this without it taking over your entire life? The key is to shift your mindset. Stop thinking of networking as just random, chaotic check-ins. Instead, think of it as a relationship operating system, a clear, systematic process that stops that decay and actually builds value over time.
And this system really rests on 3 main pillars. It's actually pretty straightforward. First, you've got to track and diagnose the health of your connections. Second, you need to actively re-engage the right people at exactly the right time. And third, and this is so important, you need to passively nurture your entire network so you're staying warm between those one-on-one chats. Let's start with that first pillar, tracking and diagnosing. I mean, you can't fix what you can't see, right? This whole step is about getting a really honest, data-driven picture of where every single one of your professional relationships actually stands today. No more guesswork.
And we can get even smarter about it. Beyond just tracking the warmth, you can add 2 more layers. Think of the Vouch score as your own private rating system, your gut check on someone's competence and character. Then there's the reciprocity ledger, which is basically a mental scorecard of the give and take. Who have you helped? Who's helped you? It tells you who you should probably do a favor for next.
All right, so once you know who's in that yellow zone and needs a little attention, it's time for pillar 2, active re-engagement. This is all about taking smart, personalized action to turn those folks from just names on a list back into the active, valuable partners you want them to be.
And this is where technology becomes an absolute superpower. Just imagine this. An AI sees a contact is cooling off, so it automatically goes out and finds their company's latest news. Maybe they just raised a new funding round or launched a product. Then it drafts a personalized message for you that references that news. It turns a generic, "Hey, how's it going?" into a super relevant, "Wow, congrats on the launch" conversation starter. It's a game changer.
But look, let's be realistic. You can't send personalized messages to hundreds of people all the time. It's just impossible. And that's exactly why this third pillar, passive nurturing, is so crucial. This is how you use content to stay visible and credible with your entire network all at once.
And on a platform like LinkedIn, not all content is created equal, not even close. Video posts get 3 to 5 times, that's 3 to 5x, more engagement than a simple text post. That makes video the single most powerful tool you have for grabbing attention and just passively warming up your whole network.
So, when you automate a consistent schedule of valuable content, especially video, you're doing a few amazing things at once. 1, you're staying visible to everybody. 2, you're gently warming up all those yellow zone contacts so your next direct message doesn't feel like it's coming out of nowhere. 3, you're cementing your reputation as an authority. And, maybe best of all, you get all this without the daily headache of manual posting.
Now, when you look at the different tools out there, you see some that are great at tracking relationship data and others that are great at helping you create content. But the real power, the real magic, happens when those 2 things are connected. You want the data on who's going cold to directly inform the content you're creating to keep them warm. That's what makes the system truly effective.
Of course, making a system this powerful feel easy to use, well, that takes some serious engineering behind the scenes. The best professional tools are like a calm duck on a pond. They look smooth and effortless on the surface, but underneath, they're paddling like crazy. Yeah, the whole goal is to hide all that complexity. You don't want to worry about API integrations or video rendering. You just want to focus on the human side of it, on building those actual relationships.
And at the end of the day, for any system you're going to trust with your professional network, it just has to work. Period. Reliability is absolutely non-negotiable. It has to be rock solid. That's what turns a clever idea into a tool you can't live without. So let's bring this all home. We've talked about the what and the how, but let's talk about the why. Why is this so incredibly strategic for B2B professionals? I'm talking about founders, executives, sales leaders, anyone whose success really depends on the strength of their network.
Okay, for founders, this is how you systematically manage all those critical investor and partner relationships without having to hire a full-time relationship manager. For sales teams, it's about keeping your entire pipeline warm and getting a clear signal on the absolute perfect moment to reach out. And for executives, it's a powerful way to maintain your reputation and project authority across your entire industry at scale.
You know, this quote from the source material just nails it. Your reputation is your network. It's so true. Having a real system to maintain those relationships isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's a total strategic necessity.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought to chew on. Right now, as you're watching this, some really valuable connections in your network are quietly going cold. The real question is, do you know who they are, and what's your system for stopping it? Thanks for tuning in.